Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Dava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamundiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for joining for the IYF class Sunday morning. Dinesh Prabhu actually asked me to speak on this verse. This is Canto 2, Chapter 1 and the second verse. It's one of the most strongest verses in the Bhagavatam. This one and the next one, they are extremely strong verses. Normally, I'll talk about it, how Prabhupada used to handle this. We'll try to actually recite this shloka and try to understand something from Prabhupada's Lila. It's a pure brahmachari class. I know there are others also who is actually seated here. We'll try to actually cover this, but it's a very, very important shloka. This is the first thing that Shukadeva Goswami starts speaking. Those are the first few verses that he speaks. Very heavy. We'll hear about that. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nranam Santi Sahasrashah apashyatamatmatattvam griheshu grihamedina shrotavyadini rajendra nranam santi sahasrasah apashyatamatmatattvam griheshu grihamedina shrotavyadini rajendra nranam santi sahasrasah apashyatamatmatattvam griheshu grihamedinam shrotavyadini rajendra nranam santi sahasrasah apashyatamatmatattvam griheshu grihamedinam shrotavyadini rajendra nranam santi sahasrasah apashyatamatmatattvam griheshu grihamedinam. Translation for this verse: those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. You want to repeat after me? Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. We will also cover a little bit from the next verse because it's very linked. Purport: in the revealed scriptures, there are two nomenclatures for the householder's life. One is Grihastha and the other is Grihamedi. The Grihasthas are those who live together with wife and children but live transcendentally for realizing the ultimate truth. The Grihamedis, however, are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. The word Medi indicates jealousy of others. The Grihamedis, being interested in family affairs only, are certainly envious of others. Therefore, one Grihamedi is not on good terms with another Grihamedi. And in the extended form, one community, society, or nation is not on good terms with another counterpart of selfish interest. In the age of Kali, all the householders are jealous of one another because they are blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth. They have many subject matters for hearing: political, scientific, social, economic, and so on. But due to a poor fund of knowledge, they set aside the question of the ultimate miseries of life, namely miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Factually, the human life is meant for making an ultimate solution to birth, death, old age, and disease. But the Grihamedis, being illusioned by the material nature, forget everything about self-realization. The ultimate solution to the problems of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. And thus, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the miseries of material existence, birth, death, age, old age, and disease are removed. The process of going back home, back to Godhead, is to hear about the Supreme Lord and His name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, and variegatedness. Foolish people do not know this. They want to hear something about the name, form, etc. of everything temporary, and they do not know how to utilize this propensity of hearing for the ultimate good. Misguided as they also create some false literatures about the name, form, attributes, etc. of the ultimate truth. One should not, therefore, become a Grihamedi simply to exist for envying others. One should become a real householder in terms of the scriptural injunctions. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 2, in the matter of first step in God realization. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsha Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataro Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Actually, this shloka looks very innocent. Prabhupada would actually quote this shloka, and along with this, he would actually quote the next shloka. He would never actually just stop here. Some background. We know that Shukadeva Goswami has already appeared in the last chapter of the previous canto. Parikshit Maharaj is in the verge of passing away, bitten by the snake. And he's actually received Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami comes and accepts the all the glorification given by the sages, and Maharaj Parikshit also. And this is the first few verses that he starts speaking. The first verse is the previous, Shri Shuka Uvacha, that is basically the previous one. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is a prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists." So he started with a very mild, simple, saying that thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Supreme. That's very nice. Now, the next sloka is this. Next sloka, mostly people would expect if somebody is invited, some speaker is invited to give a class or katha about scriptures, Krishna consciousness, they expect some pastimes of Krishna, they'll come and then talk about it. This is how actually a pure devotee of the Lord removes infatuation or all these misconceptions about reality. He says, Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nanam Shanti Sasvaha Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. He is giving a warning to Parikshit Maharaj and the rest of them. Of course, Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee. It's for all of us, the conditioned souls. He says, those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. Starts with this. And Prabhupada, whenever he used to say this, you should go to the next sloka. Can you go to the next sloka? Very powerful one. Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayena chavavayaha divacharthe haya rajan kutumba bharanena va. The translation, the lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night, either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime, either in making money or maintaining family members. This is the shloka Prabhupada used to quote, and one of the morning walks, when Prabhupada actually quoted this, he made the Kutumba Bharanena vow so heavy that many boys who are in the 20s, when they heard this from Prabhupada's lotus mouth, they had an earthquake in their heart. Said Kutumba, said then immediately they felt like actually the whole universe is going to be on their heart if they get married. Almost about of the 8 or 9 people who are there in the morning walk, 6 of them said, I'm going to take sannyas. And Rompa Swami Maharaj mentions this. All of us stayed brahmacharis and took sannyas. Maharaj says, this verse changed my life completely. I was in two minds. Should I really actually enjoy life and things like that? And Shukadeva Goswami is telling this. Kutumba Bharanena. Prabhupada opened his eyes so much that you want the whole burden of earth on your heart, then Kutumba Bharanena is better for you. So he was very, very, he was very straightforward, grave, and he cut the illusion for those who actually are confused in life what they should do. Yeah. There are so many instructions that Prabhupada gave, and Prabhupada, whenever he used to talk about this shloka, he would actually again tell this is actually the only principle which is actually stopping us from Krishna. The Grihamedis and Grihasthas, there are two, Prabhupada mentioned Grihasthas and Grihasmedi. Griha, Sta, means Griha means householder, basically. Sta means one who is situated in that. And Grihamedi, Medi actually has a lot of meanings. One of the meanings that Prabhupada uses is enviousness. One Grihamedi is envious of other Grihamedi. The interesting part here is, many of the people who are married, most of us will be married in Krishna consciousness, but we should understand this principle carefully. If somebody actually is taking care of their family nicely, and then bringing up their child, taking them to school, giving them education, and that's actually the goal that they are doing, that means they are Grihamedi. They are not Grihasthas. This is a very important point. Prabhupada actually discusses this in more detail with Harishauri Prabhu in the Transcendental Diary. He mentions a lot. People actually come to the temple, they also chant Hare Krishna, they also do, and they take care of everything. But their focus is not actually realize the ultimate truth. They are also Grihamedi, but not hardcore Grihamedi. They are not envious of others. Sometimes Prabhupada mentions even devotees, when they see other devotees, other family people, other married people are better off. They actually have a car, they can come to the temple nicely, right? Then they discuss, okay, they actually are better off and things like that. Even that's a Grihamedi kind of a concept. One should not become envious of others. One should be satisfied with what Krishna gives in family, right? But this is actually a instruction that Prabhupada gives, that many of the devotees also actually fall into this category. But lighter version of that. In the early days of ISKCON, they did not actually have all this book distribution. The book distribution concept was not there. So what the devotees used to do, they had to collect some money. So they found any opportunity which was available to collect money. So some people who are very wealthy, rich, they used to throw parties, night clubs, and the devotees were invited to do kirtan. So they were all drunk, all the people, and the devotees did not inform to Prabhupada, but they used to go and then do kirtan. And these people were dancing, they didn't know what it was, but they were hearing the holy name and dancing. And one time one of the hosts, very rich fellow, came and said, "We are part of your movement." So they all said, "Hare Krishna. We like to be part of your movement. You all have separate names, right? Give also a name like that." So devotees saw Tamal Krishna Maharaj, all this. They were not sannyasis that time. So they saw all these things, said, "Okay, we'll give the names," and said, "You are Godasa." And then they all said, "Hari Bol." Then Hari Bol, he said, everyone clapped. "Oh, okay, Godasa, Godasa." And the devotees are laughing. And then he said, "No, you all have double name. Right? Tamal Krishna, right? Like that, like longer names, two names," they said. "We also need two names. We are also part of your movement," right? They said, "Okay, you are Muda Godasa." They said, Muda Godasa, full party they are doing. Then when they went to Prabhupada later in the day and then told this is what is happening, and they gave some $500 donation, Prabhupada was laughing, the way, the innovativeness of the devotees. But Prabhupada said, this is not good for brahmacharis to actually go and then associate with such kind of people, because there will be some contamination which will disturb you on the long run. And then that's when Prabhupada actually contemplated this book distribution. Krishna book came. In the same year, end of that year, Krishna book came, and then Krishna book was actually distributed by Jayananda Prabhu, and book distribution marathon started. Prabhupada was very concerned, like, this is not the way we should collect money, because from sinful people, distribute books and collect. So Prabhupada was very clear that unless the Grihasthas, so-called grihasthas, if they don't associate with elevated brahmacharis and sannyasis and hear from them, then it's a high chance that they'll actually go into the Griha Medi platform. Unknowingly, thinking that I'm also following Grihastha ashram, because I'm married, I have my children, I'm taking care of everything. Because many a times devotees also buy houses and decorate it nicely and things like that. That is Griha Medi. But if you actually understand the center of the house is Krishna, house belongs to Krishna, and I'm decorating this for Krishna's house, then that's Grihastha ashram. It's an ashrama. It's actually a kind of a difficulty we take. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai Sudarshan ki Jai. It's a shrama or a loving burden that we take for pleasing Krishna to attain the ultimate goal of life. If we don't do that, many a times we actually fall down into this, I want to actually have a nice house, I want to have a nice car and things like that, and they get into that platform and lose the opportunity. That is why actually this shloka comes many times actually Prabhupada speaks about this, and there's one more shloka he talks about this. Yen maitunadi griham medi kamichucham. But how does it happen? One time during a morning walk in New York, Prabhupada was actually grave, and Rameshwar Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj were walking next to him, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj broke the ice. Everyone was quiet because maybe Prabhupada was contemplating. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually told Prabhupada yesterday, Rameshwar Maharaj's father, who lives in Long Island. Long Island is one of the very rich places in New York. Kings, Long Island and all these are pretty costly places. And Rameshwar Maharaj's father was a very rich personality, filthy rich. So he sent a brainwasher to Rameshwar Maharaj, like convince him, get him back to house because he has a lot of wealth. What is he trying to do there? So this person came and then spoke to Rameshwar Swami. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was actually explaining to Prabhupada. The conversation was very heavy and there was fight between both the parties. Who? That brainwasher and Rameshwar Maharaj. Rameshwar Maharaj was preaching to him, and Rameshwar Maharaj, while the discussion was going on, called him a jackass. You know, jackass means the dumbest animal, they say. Ass means normal. This is something they say, right? When I say Bhadra means auspiciousness, Subhadra means very auspicious. Mother Subhadra is actually the motivation for all the devotees. But when you add a Su, it's like more, right? This is ass, this is jackass, means it's a worst asses. So that fellow got really offended, but he left. And Prabhupada heard this and he started laughing, like, why would you actually offend a person like that? Why did you call him jackass? Rameshwar Maharaj then opened up and told him, Prabhupada, this fellow was actually coming and telling me, I was actually keeping calm, but this fellow said, sex life is the only principle in this world, and that's what you are missing. There is absolutely no enjoyment other than this in this world. You don't even know what you are missing in life. And I got really wild. I actually preached to him from Bhagavatam. I told him, and he said, this is a gone case. He goes away. Prabhupada started laughing and said, Yen maitunadi grahamedihi tucham. So this is mentioned. Prabhupada mentions that if someone doesn't have an understanding that there is another life, there is one more life for us in the future, the ultimate happiness, ultimate pleasure that you can gain in this world is sex life. And Prabhupada was very clear about it and said, this one principle will perpetually keep the conditioned soul in this material world, will never be able to get over it. And he was very clear about it. He made this point, and then full conversation was about that. And devotees felt, why did we even open this? Prabhupada was saying, and then sannyasis are coming. They all felt like, how are we going to follow? These are all 20s, 25, 26, they're all sannyasis. And Prabhupada was going on and on and on. And all the devotees felt a little heavy. And Prabhupada said, don't worry. You are all actually surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu knows your weaknesses. Mahaprabhu knows your difficulties. He will definitely actually protect you all the time. So don't worry about it. Even if you make mistakes, if you stay with the devotees, you will get purified. So don't worry about it. He understands, because some of the devotees were thinking, if this much heaviness is there, I don't think I can stay in this moment for long. So that was one conversation that happened, and Prabhupada actually spoke this, and those who actually are like, sometimes in the morning walk, some of the reporters used to join to understand what are these guys doing really. They're going, Sorry. They're walking on the beach this side and that side. This side and that side. What are they trying to do? And Prabhupada used to call something rascal, and they used to actually become very happy. When Prabhupada called somebody rascal, they used to feel very happy because they feel that Prabhupada is considering me part of his family. That's how they felt. The Prabhupada disciples did not actually feel offended when somebody calls a rascal. But rascal really means a very heavy word. If you see, if you call a gentleman a rascal, they'll get offended. They feel very annoyed. Why are you calling me? That's why we don't, in these days, we don't use this word rascal. And Prabhupada used to use, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Prabhupada, he was even more heavy. He used to call someone as Bhoka. Bhoka in Bengali means waste fellow. Why is he existing in the creation? That kind of. So, because these acharyas know exactly what is actually the word to be used, which will penetrate their hard covering of ego. Then they'll open up and say, oh, you call me that? Why are you calling me this now here? Right? Whenever the acharyas call such heavy words, your ego gets broken and whatever they speak goes into the heart. Yeah. So this is actually the sum and substance of this particular verse. Basically, that in the material world, although the Shastras say the Supreme Person of Godhead, his activities, his name, fame, pastimes, all these things are all supernatural. And hearing them again and again is a path back to Godhead, perfection. Because birth, old age, disease, death, this is common for everybody, every living entity. But if somebody makes a solution, that person is a glorious person. Is anybody making solution for this? Is there a way we can stop birth? You can't. Whatever you do, whatever you try, you cannot escape. Birth will keep happening. Old age, no way. There are many examples which are there. I'm not going to get into those examples because I have some other points to make. Then disease. Whatever disease you actually try to solve, another disease comes somehow. From nowhere it comes. No one plans for it, but it comes. Even if the people are actually not planning, somehow Paramatma instigates certain people to create a new disease. This is how it works. And finally death. No one can stop death. So these four are guaranteed. If anybody actually can make solutions to these four, you will become very rich in the material world. People will come and then ask for solution for these four. That's an amazing thing in this material world. That it's such a wonderful jail. There is no door or there is no wall for this jail. But no one plans to escape. It's easy to go back to Godhead, but nobody wants to because of this particular one principle. This one principle, Prabhupada said, is keeping every conditioned soul perpetually in the cycle of birth and death. So if we can actually overcome this one principle, then our path back to Godhead opens up very easily. And many a times, most of you are not married, so you'll be wondering like, what is that? What is that I'm not going to do, or what is I'm going to do in the future and things like that. But this is the most difficult thing to overcome. Because if this is overcome, door back to Godhead is open, especially for all youngsters. But we'll actually see such great personalities like Vishwamitra Muni, right? Saubhari Muni, they're all like perfected in controlling the senses. They could not overcome that. Where are we? Right? So we'll try to see some of the examples from the Shastras. How Shukadeva Goswami is giving so many... See, understand Bhagavatam actually has solution for everything. Right? And different portions of Bhagavatam talks about different things for different people. And this is basically for purification. This is what he's starting with. Because king is normally with queen, then palace full, all enjoyment. Shukadeva Goswami is cutting that knot, saying that don't expect me to actually be talking about very nice things. In the full beginning, if you see in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rajakrishna was actually telling me this. The first canto, if you see, give me in one sentence what is first canto. Right? All the chapters together. He said in one sentence that work very hard with valor, put a lot of effort in whatever work you do, but depend completely on Krishna in whatever activities do, and retire timely. This is what is one, if you want to say what is the first canto of Bhagavatam. And second canto of Bhagavatam, he is starting with cutting it, saying that why do you need a pillow? You see this as you go along, why do you need a pillow? When you have hands, you can sleep like this. Why do you need a bed when Mother Earth is actually giving such a wonderful place to sleep? And why do you need a roof or a house when the whole sky is actually given to you? This is too much. And he's a king. But this is a level of heaviness a spiritual master gives, so that you understand going back to Godhead is not an easy joke. One has to become serious. Right? And when Prabhupada actually gave this lesson, all these things, and devotees actually have become, it's not going to be so easy for me, but Prabhupada assured, don't feel demotivated. Prabhupada said, because the acharyas, all of them know the conditioned souls, and that's why they have come planned how to actually take everyone back to Godhead. The only thing is you have to be in the association of devotees and never ever leave association of devotees. Whatever may be the condition. You can make mistakes, that's fine, but you will get over it. It's all fine. Not an issue. Now, Shukadeva Goswami here mentioned that those who actually are not aware of the Atma Tattvam, Apashyatam. Apashyata means unknown, don't know. Griheshu Grihamedinam. They have so many literatures. So many literatures, not one or two. Because by living in it, he actually has a natural tendency to hear about the Supreme Lord. But if they are not exposed to that pastime from their childhood, but instead they actually are exposed to things like pornography, then it's very difficult for them to focus on Krishna's pastimes. It will keep disturbing them all through their life. And it's not easy to overcome at all. Prabhupada assured, but still Krishna consciousness is so powerful. If you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, keep chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, 16 rounds minimum, and follow the four principles and be with the devotees. You also can actually become purified. And he assured in one lifetime you can, but one has to follow all these things. Without that, it's very difficult, because Prabhupada in many places mentions the natural love for Krishna, if it's actually transformed into lust, before the love is blossomed, then turning back lust to love, it's a very, very difficult task. And many of the Kali Yuga people, especially these hippies and all, saying like, where is the hope for us? Because what we are talking, they have done early part of their life. If you see in the Western world, many of the sannyasis today used to tell, if you see books about Prabhupada, they used to go and cry in front of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, what are you are talking and what are you are not spoken also, you have done all these things. So how do we overcome all these things? Because these are disturbing us all the time. When you're chanting, see, understand, no one knows who is actually doing what. But Paramatma knows everything. Krishna knows what we have done and how pure we are, how sacred we are. Right? Krishna knows everything. We can't cheat him anyways. Right? But transforming lust to love, it's not an easy task. So be aware of it. And especially those who get married, for them this is actually an eye-opener, that one has to be careful. Now, while what is the chapter name? First step in God realization. And Shukadeva Goswami is talking about hearing about Krishna, Krishna's Leela and everything. But this shloka is about what should one not remember and hear. Normally what we say, what do you hear and what you remember, right? Smartavyam satatam Vishnu, vismartavyam na jatuchita. Means always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is actually the ideals given by Vishnu Purana, ideals for all the Shastric understanding. That is why we have so many do's, get up for Mangalarati, do this, and also don't, some things are there. This shloka is actually about what you should not remember and what you should not hear. And what he's saying so many different subject matters, social, political, economic, scientific, everything is actually centered around that principle of attraction between male and female. And that has to be broken to the core. That has to be broken to the core before you can even think about getting love of Krishna. Now, there are so many instructions. For example, Vishwamitra Muni. Right? Vishwamitra Muni, we all know that actually he was a king in his previous ashram. And because he wanted to actually defeat Vashishta, he became a Muni. And he had controlled his senses so perfectly that no one could actually defeat him. So it is mentioned in the Shastras, we heard that Indra was getting scared, and so he sent Menaka, an Apsara. And she came and then danced. Nothing happened to him. And she used her ankle bells, and then the tinkling sound and all, he heard everything, but nothing happened. He was not disturbed at all because he was perfected in his senses. But unfortunately, this tinkling of ankle bells triggered his contemplation. The most dangerous thing is contemplation. If you contemplate, sure shot you'll fall down. And again, some of you will be thinking, oh, I'm not even married, I don't even know about the opposite sex. So what's the problem? No, in every lifetime, in every form in this material world, eating, sleeping, mating and defending is there. We all know that, right? And this whole principle about what are the 4 regulatory principles we follow? No gambling? Yes. The other 3 is not in other forms of life. Not that everyone gets intoxicated. Elephant doesn't get intoxicated, right? Cow doesn't eat meat, right? But sex is there in every form of life. That means it's deeply rooted. It doesn't really matter whether you are brahmachari or not. Little bit of contemplation of opposite sex, sure shot, it's just a matter of time. Vishwamitra Muni started contemplating. He was a king, he had a lot of queens before. The moment he did that, it dragged him back to this material platform and he was not able to overcome that. Then what happened? He forgot what was he actually meditating for. That much attraction he got into, or lusty desire he got with Menaka, and finally Shakuntala was born. We know that story, right? Then finally he was so disturbed and then again he said, I don't want it, and continued overcoming that because he meditated on Vishnu. And so much he meditated on Vishnu that his ego principle was still there. And he created this Trishanku Swarga, he created and put it on the, he didn't know how to put it on orbit. He created a, you all know about the story, right? Trishanku Swarga. So see, because one of the guys wanted to go to heavenly planet without any qualification. And Vishwamitra Muni being a Kshatriya, it's not good for him to, a person in the Kshatriya mentality to become a Brahmana. It's not good. But he had become without proper qualification. Because of that, he still had a little bit of passionate mentality that I can achieve anything I want. So one person came and then asked him, I want to go to heaven without any qualification. Indra said, impossible, you cannot come. Vishwamitra Muni said, I will send you. So with his power, he said, go. He started going. Indra actually put his Vajra, and that fellow was neither down, and because Vishwamitra is telling, go up, and Indra is not allowing him to come. So he was upside down, neither here. That's why they call it Trishanku Swarga, right? It's like, Trishanku means neither up nor down. So he created a planet for this guy from a coconut. And this planet, he put it on, let it go, whoever wants to go. And it was going here and there. No orbit was there. And finally it came behind him, saying that you only created me, give me a place. Then he had to pray to Vishnu, and Vishnu actually protected him and put him in a particular place. And Vishwamitra Muni perfected his devotion service to Vishnu, and Vishnu actually said, when I come as Lord Ram, I will actually learn from you the art of warfare and things like that. So we can understand such powerful personalities, they also made mistakes. So one has to be very careful. So keep this in your mind always, like contemplation of the opposite sex is very dangerous. For men, contemplating on women's body is very dangerous, and for women, contemplation on men's body is extremely dangerous. Sure shot, even if you are married, you are actually maybe a sannyasi, will fall down if you actually do that. Be very careful about this. So this is one instruction that Prabhupada tells Harishauri Prabhu on how to overcome, how can one maintain this mindset. Prabhupada says, even I get dreams of my ex-wife. You are sannyasi, right? Ex-wife. But one should not contemplate on how life was and things like that. It's very dangerous. Then Saubhari Muni, we know Saubhari Muni's case, right? He saw these fishes, but he did not actually have any marriage before. He was a Muni. But because he saw these two, he remembered what he had done in his previous lives. And those actually created such amount of desire in him. He went to the local king and asked that, I want to marry. Give me a princess. So the princess saw that he was very old. This guy is emaciated. Like he said, no. Though the king thought, I have to do something. He said, You can go find out whomever you want to. Whoever is willing to marry you, please go ahead and then marry them. So he thought, if I go to he had about 52 daughters, something like that. 50 daughters. So 50 daughters. Then he knew that if I go there with this kind of a body, it's not going to work. And he's a Muni, he's a powerful guy. He went with such a youthful body, all the 50 of them married him. What was the reason? He had offended. Who did he offend? Garudaji. Because he offended Garudaji, it's very dangerous. So Vaishnava Aparad will make you very weak in following the principles. So be very careful about that. Then it's mentioned in the Vishnu Purana what happened. We know only about this much only, that he actually married, and then but then actually eventually he got so frustrated because managing 50 princes is not an easy thing. He got so frustrated, he started praying, and he surrendered to Yamuna Devi. Because he was in Yamuna only, right? So he was actually praying to Yamuna Devi to deliver him. Yamuna Devi came and then gave him her blessings, and then he became a pure devotee later. But the point is, contemplation is a very dangerous thing. Especially those who are married or not married, please be very careful. Especially those who are exposed to all this pornography in colleges. Beware, it's a very dangerous thing, because you cannot avoid interaction with other people in the world. That will definitely come. If you're working outside, even if you don't work outside in temple, interaction is guaranteed. You cannot avoid. Prabhupada said, if you want, go and stay in the mountains. Here it's not possible. But if you contemplate even a little bit, it's just the beginning of the end. So be careful. Okay, so it's mentioned that so many topics are there that the worldly literatures are created and things like that. One time I was actually, my flight was delayed in Bombay. I went into the bookstall to find out what is there and things like that. And I was just looking at what are the books which are there right now, and I saw that Karna's Queen. That was the book name. I was like, who is asking for these kind of books? Why do people write books like this? First of all, did anyone ask for writing? But they create so many new things. Karna's Queen, and then it was like the outcast, Karna's wife, outcast queen. That is, outcast is Karna, right? Sutaputra. He's considered as outcast. And the outcast queen, people create so many things. And I actually opened and saw a little bit what is there written there. They are talking about something that how Duryodhana helped him get married and things like that. Is there any Krishna consciousness here? Nothing. Not even an ounce. Whatever is required, Vyasadeva has mercifully written the Mahabharata. That is sufficient. Mahabharata actually has, because Krishna's instructions are there, Krishna is there, Mahabharata is sufficient. But people create so many new things unnecessarily, unwanted, and then that actually make people more and more weaker to follow whatever Krishna is telling. So one has to be very careful. Especially these days that YouTube shorts are there, you keep doing it and then it keeps coming new thing, you get attracted, you can't stop it at all. It's very difficult to stop it, it just goes on and on. Please understand, if you want to go back to Godhead, these are some things you have to underline and say, no more contemplation. If you can't do this, no contemplation, forget spiritual life. It's not going to actually work on the long run. You can actually chant Hare Krishna for many years, it will not take you anywhere close. Prabhupada was so heavy in this class, especially he mentioned these three, at least 3-4 times. But I also gave Haridas Thakur's example. Haridas Thakur, what did he do? He was chanting Hare Krishna. We also chant Hare Krishna, but we contemplate. He did not contemplate. When Maya Devi was personally present, he said, look at Tulsi Devi, I am also looking at Tulsi Devi, we will chant Hare Krishna. So this contemplation is something you have to actually remove out of your mind. Whenever some kind of thoughts comes, just say, no contemplation. This is the rule that I need to follow. Prabhupada gave these tips. And Prabhupada said, one Grasta disciple came, I'll give some time for question answers also, so that I keep on talking on this from Prabhupada books, but I want to know what you all are thinking. One Grasta disciple came and told Prabhupada, you have written in your books that the lust has to be transformed into love for Krishna. How do I do that? Prabhupada asked, the devotee told Prabhupada, it seems to be very difficult because I find it really difficult to practice this principle. We know that every principle can be engaged in Krishna's service, right? You become angry, anger can be engaged in Krishna's service. Example, Hanumanji, Arjuna, right? You can do that. What about the other things like, the other different qualities that we have, which is not good, anarthas, right? We can everything, you can engage in Krishna, you can dovetail that in Krishna's service, then you get purified. That quality gets purified. He asked, how does this lust gets purified to love? And Prabhupada said, it's not, is it so difficult? I said, Prabhupada, I am finding it very difficult. Because it's not changing only. I am not getting love for Krishna. Practically, I am doing it because Prabhupada is or Guru Maharaj is asking, Prabhupada is asking, the seniors are asking me to do. But do I really have love to actually to get up for Mangalarati and then stand in front of the Lord? He told Prabhupada, I don't think I have that love. I really find it difficult, he said. So Prabhupada told him, when you do deity worship, the lust gets transformed into love, he said. For those who actually are not really, really elevated, Prabhupada said preaching is enough as a seva. Chanting Hare Krishna will purify you, because Bhagavata Vidhi is a process mentioned for Kali Yuga. But if you actually are totally low, this is all there in the Harishauri Prabhu's Transcendental Diary discussions. You are totally low, that highly materialistic. Prabhupada said in such people you chant Hare Krishna but also do some yoga system. Follow some yoga, breathing processes to soothe your mind, because your mind is extremely violent. Even if you're chanting, you're not able to control the mind. So do yoga. That is, when you do yoga, it calms your mind. That's for those who are highly, highly materialistic. Prabhupada said most of them actually can become serious in Krishna consciousness by association of devotees, taking prasadam and then being a simple life. But there will be people who will not be able to follow. For them, Prabhupada said, first is that do some yoga in the morning, so it soothes you. Second thing, he said, deity worship. Because Bhagavata Vidhi is the process. Why has he given Pancharatra? Pancharatra Vidhi is basically given because not everybody, especially householders, it's very difficult for them to actually come to that stage of only preaching and Bhagavatam and chanting of Hare Krishna. Because they have to take care of family, wife, children, in-laws. So their interaction on the worldly platform, the three modes of material nature platform, is more. So how do they get over that? Because for Bhagavad Gita, you follow, only Bhagavad Gita you follow, you can be in the transcendental plane and you don't need to worry about anything because Krishna takes care. But if you come under the three modes of material nature, then Krishna will not actually interfere. Only in the Shuddha Sattva platform, Krishna will actually protect you fully. The modes of material nature are there, then your karma will actually act. So, Prabhupada said, when you actually do deity worship, strictly have a disciplined, get up early in the morning, this time, wake up the Lord, do this, then that lust gets transformed into love over a period of time. So this trick, many devotees don't know this. They're saying, why should I actually do deity worship? It's not so important. But the deity worship really reason is this, that those who actually are highly lusty, they find it difficult to give up the material lifestyle, being in family. For them, it's recommended that you should do deity worship. Yeah. So, again, process is chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, there's no doubt about it. But hearing Bhagavatam will give you these tips. Then you learn, it's all there in Bhagavatam, right? And you make progress about it. Then we also know about Lord Shiva. I don't know, see, when Lord Shiva was a Vairagi, he is a renounced person, renunciant. And Vishnu and Brahmaji made him as a Grihastha, right? Because he wanted someone to actually set examples for everybody to follow. Because the Devatas were not actually following everything pakka. They get, because they actually have all these apsaras dancing and things like that. So someone has to set rule. And Lord Vishnu himself does not do it because he is in Vaikuntha. He takes incarnations, but someone has to stay here and show on a long term how do I follow. So they all tried everything and then had Lord Shiva get married to Mother Parvati. There's a long story. We'll have it for Mother Day. How Lord Shiva himself got pulled into the entire thing, and he had to, although he's a renounced personality, he's a yogi, he got into the Grihastha ashram and then started following. He was not able to follow. Every now and then he used to actually go back. There's one episode which is there, I'll tell, and then I'll open it for questions for some time. After marriage, all the Saptarishis who were associates of Lord Shiva told him that once you are married, you have to give me a party. You have to invite. You have to give. See, before it's actually bachelor party, that he enjoyed, Lord Shiva, with all Nandi and Ganas and things like that. That was very nice. But after marriage, they said this is actually the setup that is required. Every family member should always understand your family is not yours. Prabhupada mentions in the purport also here, saying that just extended family or my own family, very selfish. This is not Grihastha. This is Grahamedi. Grihastha means you think about everybody in the world. What about other families, other children? What are they going to do? How are they becoming Krishna conscious? Is other Grihasthas also actually getting time to become Krishna conscious? That mentality one has to cultivate. This is the mindset of Paramahamsa. His only Jayapada Maharaj keeps telling all the Grihasthas, especially who are completed 50, you have done what you have to do. Now think about what you can do for others. Become gurus, he said. But if you get trained properly and then take the responsibility of what Lord Chaitanya wants to give, yes, everyone should actually take the responsibility of the parampara, mission of the parampara, and take it. But when in this episode, Lord Shiva was told, like, you are supposed to be an example, everyone will follow, so please, please, give us a party. So all of them came. So the Mother Parvati being Annapurni, she created everything, all food was there, so Lord Shiva distributed, everything was okay. Full day went, now he didn't meditate even for a moment, he was just serving everybody so much, and then finally everyone was happy. They were all going out. Lord Shiva said, thank you so much for coming. He said, we are not yet gone. You are supposed to give us Guru Dakshina. You have to give Dakshina. When like somebody comes to eat, right, you have to give Dakshina for them. So like you have to give Dakshina. And Lord Shiva said, this is too much. Then I have to go and ask my wife, because he doesn't have anything. He is so detached. He asked Parvati Devi, give everyone whatever they want. So they had to give. Then he went and sat under the tree and said, enough. If you keep house only, all these problems will come. No, I don't want any bhavan, anything. Kailash is good because the mountain is good enough, the trees are good enough. So like this, Lord Shiva gives us inspiration, saying that the simpler your lifestyle is, it's easier for you to follow Krishna consciousness. Yeah, there are many pastimes that Lord Shiva also does just to prove as a Vaishnava and Amrita Shambhu. Why do we call him as the greatest Vaishnava? He trains everybody in so wonderful ways to become Krishna conscious. I'll stop here. I'll give some opportunity for people to ask questions, because there are so many instructions on this, but then sometimes it becomes so heavy. So like, I don't have so much of heart to take this much of instruction. But Prabhupada used to be very heavy sometimes. He was very heavy. He was like, devotees say, he used to cut through air. I don't know what that means. You would cut through air, and it was so silent. And Prabhupada become very heavy and saying that this is what you should be doing. And then you people actually are wasting your time and things like that. Prabhupada was very heavy. These are not there in the books. It's there in the conversations. Many conversations are so heavy. And devotees would actually cry internally and then finally tell Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I don't think we are there yet. We find it very difficult to follow this. And Prabhupada would mellow down and he would give hope. Don't worry, it's my duty as an acharya to cut from your illusions. But Lord Chaitanya came here to deliver all of us. So if you take shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Tradish is coming, so meditation on Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, that he delivered people like Jagai and Madai, so we can also actually get delivered if you are sincere, right? Simply have to take the shelter and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and open your heart to them, saying that this is my problem. I have a desire to be like this. I want to serve you, my Lord, but I am not able to. Please help me. Keep making the prayers, you will get purified. It's the same thing for men and women. Doesn't matter, because for Krishna does not distinguish who is a man, who is a woman. We have to do it as part of the social order. But for the Lord, they are the same. Yeah? Any questions? It was a heavy class. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a very wonderful class.
Hmm.
So, you were telling one point about you should not contemplate on some thoughts about sex life or like that.
Yeah.
So I had tried myself night, and it is like how long can we not contemplate, because there is some inquisitiveness.
Yes.
And like personally I had tried, but it didn't work. So like what I do, I try more like sometimes we have read some shastras, we have some knowledge. I try to contemplate on this with shastrical vision, how it will lead to misery, and so because I tried not to contemplate, it is very very difficult.
Not to contemplate also is contemplation only in one sense, right? I don't want. Okay, give. Like in the beginning days, like people actually say there is some inquisitiveness, and the society actually facilitates such things, because you heard about this Prabhupada in the morning walks used to actually hear what are the devotees thinking all the time in the morning walks. And I used to wonder, like, morning walks is meant for chanting. Why is Prabhupada actually spending time on all these things? Because Prabhupada said, when chanting only you'll get all these things out. And I have to pluck all these unwanted things from your heart and throw it out. Because otherwise I will never get a chance, because you will not ask me such questions. How many of you feel when chanting you get the entire world's ideas there? Because that's actually boiling, it's creating all the anarthas and coming out. See, these anarthas are still there. How many of you chanting, you cannot even go near Krishna, first of all, unless these all go. And Prabhupada would pull and then take it out and then throw it out. So it's a very, very good question. Definitely an extremely powerful question. And and Prabhupada would actually answer these questions straightforward. He would say, he would actually tell the devotees, depend on Krishna, right? And don't lose hope, right? Because of the past vasanas and the past karma, some of us actually are instigated internally, even though you don't want it, you feel like actually, yes, there is something which is I'm missing. Prabhupada mentioned this, right? That what do you call, en maithunadi grihamedi sukhami tucham. Prabhupada used to mention this again and again, said, it is not easy to overcome this. It takes many lifetimes to give it up. But if you actually take the spiritual master's instruction seriously, then it is possible because of his mercy. But many a times we want to actually chant nicely, follow sadhana nicely, have prasadam nicely, sleep nicely. That means independently you are doing everything. Go and ask your spiritual master, what should I do? And you do just that much. He will empower you. You can overcome everything. This is what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada actually, most of the sannyasis, today's sannyasis actually are not born like us in India. They were born in places where what we are thinking as breaking regulative principles was norm for them. See, why do we actually say the Kali is actually a very dangerous personality and things like that? Because Kali makes us feel sinful activities normal. Why are you actually getting so worried about that? In the olden days, somebody goes and drinks and come, people, the entire society will close the door and don't come in this area. Today, people keep it at home and drink. Right? Such horrible situation. People think it's normal, it's very personal. Why are you worried? Illicit sex, same thing. No one thinks that it's actually bad. It's a personal life. Why are you worried? Kali makes people think like that. Yeah. So this is the reason Prabhupada said these four regulative principles are very, very important. And then contemplation is something that we have to chalk it out, saying that no contemplation, I should not be even thinking of it. Because if I do that, it is going to actually take away my spiritual life right in front of my eyes. I have this, my Lord, plead with the Lord, saying that no. Sometimes it disturbs. So you have to actually talk to your counselor, take advice from them, what do I do and things like that. Because they would have taken advice from their senior devotees, and then that's how it is. Because there is no one solution for this. Each one of them are in different mindset. And sometimes Anantal Prabhu used to tell me, one has to take the horoscope and see how much of this kind of vasanas is there. If you have a mountain of vasanas like this, better get married. Because as a brahmachari, it's very difficult for you to actually manage that. Because every time I finish one and I want to do seva, another comes like that. When will you do the seva then? You'll keep working with your mind all through your life. Because it doesn't leave. It's very difficult. Then there are many other yajnas which are recommended for family people. When you actually do all those things for the Lord, for the Lord's pleasure, I would say yajna means deity worship mainly. When you do that deity worship together, all these things actually go away. You can overcome that. The power to actually overcome this contemplation comes. But if you succumb to it, because there is some kick in that, then Maya will come and kick you. You'll get a bigger kick from Maya Devi. Then there is no way actually you can progress. We can put nice dress here and then come and sit in front of the Lord, chant nicely with devotion and things like that. Krishna knows our heart. How much can you actually go and then cheat him? If you can anybody here or anywhere in the creation cheat Krishna? Krishna is the greatest cheat. If you try to cheat him, you are the one who will get cheated. Krishna will not get cheated, but he will feel very sad. Why are you doing this to me? I am here to help you. I want you to come back to me. So we have to be careful, right? Talk to your seniors, whoever you trust, and take guidance from them. There are various things they can actually suggest what you should do, and then we should try that. There are general things like this saying, okay, avoid all these things, don't actually look into it. have extra activities. Prabhupada always said, instead of avoiding, add so many services that you will not have time to do this. You will not have time to contemplate anything. That's actually a better way of handling the situation, but it may not work for everybody. And Prabhupada would actually give this instruction to Harishavari Prabhu. And Harishavari Prabhu used to wonder, why is Prabhupada telling me these things? And Prabhupada said, because I know someday actually you will write all these things. It will help for the future devotees. Look at Prabhupada. Prabhupada predicted that devotees will write about him. Because someday they will come that they are missing him, they will write all these things. And Prabhupada told Sathur Maharaj, you write my biography, but don't release it till I am here. And it's so wonderful that Sathur Maharaj actually wrote all these things. But Sathur Maharaj actually had censored many things in the Leelamrita because it was a general audience. But Harishwari Prabhu, Tamal Krishna Maharaj Goswami Maharaj, all these great personalities, they did not censor, they gave pure truth. And Prabhupada has given solutions to everything from Bhagavatam only, not his speculation. But sometimes we feel when you read this, you will not get that what is it all about. But this is what it is. Because we are looking for that variety of information. But sometimes you read Krishna book and things like that, hey, this is not what I am looking for, I want something more. Prabhupada said in the night time if you read Krishna book and sleep, and eventually you will start getting Krishna in the dreams. Prabhupada mentioned this. How many of you heard this? It will happen, it's just a matter of time, right? But if your heart is has so much of garbage, the garbage has to be removed before Krishna can enter. But you have to have faith and patience. Dhairya and Nishya, both are required. It will happen, it's just a matter of time. Yeah? It may not have answered your question, but it's a very grave question that you have. Have faith in Krishna. Go and tell the Lord, I am not able to overcome these things. It is there in the Shastras, but I am not able to overcome this. You are the person who is actually empowering everything. You empower me also. Then it will happen, it will work. Yeah? Hare Krishna. Yes, anything else?
My question was about the Krishna book, so you already have answered, so
Okay.
no more question. Thank you for the GS.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. No, actually, I was once upon a time a GS kind of a fellow. I didn't go through the seminars, but naturally reading about Prabhupada books, I had this mindset that I want to be a GS person. You all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, Krishna had a plan. He had a different plan. And yeah, it doesn't matter which ashram you are in. It all depends on how much you are interested to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As long as your intention is to simply serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in whatever way you can, the Lord will actually put a plan to pull you out of this material mire and take you back to Godhead. Have faith in that. Krishna did not come to deliver a few souls here as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants the entire creation to go back to Godhead. Only thing is we need to actually somehow connect them with Krishna, some way or other. Somehow make them chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The rope is drawn on their neck. It may take some time, but Krishna will create situation that they will have to surrender to Krishna. There is no way you can escape. It's a matter of time. Yeah, anything else? Maybe one question. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sir, I was listening to you speak for the last 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
The question that I had is generally when people are adolescents, children,
Yeah.
or when they grow up to an adult, like you said, they get into a lot of things.
Yeah.
Later, after the stage, when they probably they get married,
Yeah.
they have kids,
Yeah.
automatically things change for them and they get pulled towards
Yes.
spirituality or that belief in the God and all of that. I you take my example. So I was very playful, toys and all of that. After the stage, once we get married, we start looking at people around, we go to temples. So we automatically get into that spiritual mode.
Very nice.
So whenever I've come to visit the temple, my temple, they play very close, they are here, devotees everywhere. So whenever I join them, come here, I get that sense of attainment, that extremely peacefulness.
Yes.
But tomorrow when I go back to my work,
Yeah.
you know the stress that we go through,
Yeah.
the pain that we go through.
Yes.
We completely get out of the mode that I had previously.
Yes.
How do I, a lot of times when we are put into a regular situation, when you're cornered for something in office.
Yes.
You
Yes.
feel very, what do I say? At times, I can even call it a scared sometimes. You're scared for your future. You don't know what's going to happen next 3 months, 6 months, your corporate life.
Yes, very true.
So how do I attain that sense of peacefulness, and how do I think things more calmly to manage any kind of these anxieties?
Okay. Okay. It may not be directly related to this topic, but it's a very good question. Thanks for coming to the temple. Keep coming often, hear more lectures. Then you'll actually get solutions for everything. Prabhupada actually mentions that this material world, especially those who are taken Krishna consciousness, is like you are declaring to the material world that I am going to have a war with you. We are actually in a war all the time with the material world. There's never peace here. We are actually declared to material nature, Mother Nature, Maya Devi, Durga Devi. Durga Devi has how many hands? 10. And how many you have? 10 hands she is actually going to fight against you. 10 directions. In every direction actually your senses are getting pulled apart. So it's not so easy to overcome that. But Prabhupada told that if Krishna is with you, Maya Devi won't do anything. But how do you get Krishna towards us? Prabhupada said that every day in the morning, beg the acharyas and chant the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, you put a jacket on yourself. The material nature will not actually affect you over the day. You will not be disturbed. Otherwise what happens, your karma creates situations that you have to actually face the world. And world situations are created in such a way that you will feel like my peace is gone. But actually Krishna is not giving us peace, he is going to give us bliss. Peace is actually a zero level. You see the ass sleeping on the road, you will feel like, oh, very peaceful animal. Right? It will be standing like this only, sleeping. You will feel like, how can it be, someone be so peaceful in this world? What if a lorry comes, he said, doesn't care. But that's not what Krishna is giving us. Krishna is really giving us bliss. But when you get the taste of that bliss and chant this mantra, then you actually put this, the whole day, material nature cannot do anything to you because you are actually in a platform of protection. But those who are not yet there, they will be in two boats. Sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes you feel like I want to leave all this and go, but because of family you are unable to leave. Right? So this will be in two, it will keep swinging. Till the point you surrender to Krishna saying, I give up my Lord, I simply can't take any more. I surrender unto you. Just like Arjuna. Arjuna knew everything about how to fight with each one of them, he knew everything. But when he came to the war of Mahabharata, he lost complete patience saying that, I am totally overwhelmed, I don't think I can do this. I don't know what to do and what not to do. I am finding it very difficult. So that's the situation. So he surrendered to Krishna. So when you surrender, then Krishna will open up. Till the point, we keep telling that this is what I should do. I read in the Shastra, I know what has to be done, I have to do this. He said, okay, do it, let's see. That is why Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhrutaya. You cannot overcome a material nature. But Mameve Prapadantya Maya Me Tantarantya. If you surrender unto me, what is this surrender? Meaning Krishna's instruction we directly follow. Right? And this first instruction that Prabhupada gave us is chant this mantra of Hare Krishna every day, 16 rounds. And if you are doing little, try to increase it. Yeah? And associate with devotees, you will learn more tips like this, and we can go back to God, we can go back to Krishna end of this life.
Sure.
Yeah? Hope that helps. Hare Krishna. Okay. I am little surprised because this was for the brahmacharis and then the youth forum.
No, like you said, I was listening to the conversation last 50 minutes.
No problem.
I had this in my mind.
Okay.
When you said generally people tend to get into that phase
Yes.
at some point of time in their life.
Yes.
Can be adolescents, can be adults, but at some point of time you are pulled into that spirituality.
Yeah.
Something that I have noticed in myself.
Thank you so much. Yeah, see, because what we normally know is spirituality is just the beginning. When you get into Krishna consciousness, you know how deep it is. So get into it. Enjoy this journey of serving Krishna peacefully. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everything in the past,
Mhm.
whatever in our life,
Mhm.
everything in the future is Krishna's wish.
Mhm.
So why should we worry about our prarabdha or anything? If the Krishna is inside us, he is doing everything. Future. present,
Mm.
past.
Mm.
So we can attach to Krishna all the time, doing our work, kartavya, whatever. We should not feel sorrow or anything. Can we feel anything? Sometimes we get sorrows, bad, this one, labha nashta, sukha dukkha. Only dukkha we emotionally we get that dukkha and nashta also. Then we get labha and sukha. All the two are samayakritva, labha that surrender to Krishna. Isn't it that?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, thank you so much for actually quoting from Bhagavad Gita. I'm thinking that you're actually reading Bhagavad Gita every day. Read the Bhagavad Gita, purports of Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita as it is. If you don't have a book of that kind, please take one book of that and read Prabhupada's purports. Because this understanding about Samayakritva, Labha Labha Jaya Javat, that's actually an instruction that Arjuna is given to Krishna, that everything is done. Krishna is actually orchestrating. But do we feel his presence all the time? That's a question we have to actually ask. If we are feeling his presence all the time, why are we not loving him then? So we should think about how much time I am giving him. We may be giving to the family, we may be giving to the society, but how much personal time am I giving to Krishna? These are higher instructions which are given. Many a times actually we read a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, we don't come to the stage of Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanamaja. Leave Pati Dharma, Patni Dharma, children Dharma, society Dharma, this Dharma, dog Dharma, surrender unto me alone, Krishna is telling us. We don't have to, we have not come to that stage, but we come somewhere here and say it's sufficient. That's good, but that's not sufficient. We have to go, how much can I do service to Krishna, loving service to Krishna? The more we do that, then eternally you can go back to Krishna. Otherwise what happens is you go to the next level, you get a next life. In that life you'll get a little more progress. Right? It will not take you back to Godhead.
Is it not our kartavya to, when we are married, we have to look after the life, not like Buddha, he left in the night without looking at their fate, without thinking. Is it not correct?
If somebody dies today because of the past karma, what will happen to the family? Will God not take care of them?
But knowing that they are living, they were dependent on Buddha, why did he leave?
It's a long topic. I know, understand.
No, not everybody, every sannyasi, why do they take from the samsara? Samsara, in the samsara only, they can find Krishna. In the wife, she is there, Krishna is there in the wife.
Okay.
In the children. Why can't she is Krishna in the wife? Okay.
Very nice. You can see that. You can see them as Krishna's property. That's fine. But it's not for your enjoyment. It's for Krishna's enjoyment. Right? The whole world is for Krishna's enjoyment. Very simple question I'll ask you. Is somebody in this group or your relatives want to join Indian Army? Will you stop them or not?
I'll stop.
You'll stop?
Yes.
Go and tell this to Modi ji that Indian Army people are all crazy people. If they are not there in the borders, we can't have classes here.
Why should we go to fight? There is no enemy.
It's a long topic. Point is, not everybody actually can join the army. There are few people who want to dedicate their life for Krishna's service, and they are chosen by the Lord. And such kind of people are important also. Just like we need householders, there are also some people who want to actually serve the Lord. And this such, if Shukadeva Goswami was not there, he was very busy with his family life, where would have got Bhagavatam? So everyone is required. Right? It's chosen by the Lord. Some people actually get lot more inspiration to serve the Lord fully, and they think about why only I should take care of my family. I can take care of the entire world. Prabhupada said, I left my family. Prabhupada took sannyas. I left my family. I got a whole family of 5,000 disciples, children, and without any wife. No harassment. Right? Anyway, so it's a long conversation. We can take it offline. Yeah. But point is very simple. The Bhagavatam. Okay, one last question. One question? Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the eye-opener class, Prabhu, today. So my question is basically outcome of talking to very two senior devotees. Both are grihasthas and both are having their fix in Krishna consciousness. So I was having this doubt that whether to become a grihastha or a brahmachari, it should come out of one's own realizations, or it can be somehow influenced by the parents also. So one of the Prabhuji, who is very senior, he was trying to have his children brought up in a kind of Gurukul environment and trying to give them that kind of education right from like 5 years, like what Prahlad Nagar teaches. Another father, he is saying, I don't want to force this on my child. I want to give material education, mundane education, and let him grow in Krishna consciousness, where I will keep him under my own this thing, where I will preach to him, I will teach what is correct, what is wrong, and I will bring up in such a way that once he comes to that platform where he is able to decide whether I should become a full-time or whether should I earn and become a kind of grihastha. So both I felt like kind of like different opinions of people, and especially in this particular age where like everything is like kind of freely available and people so the mind can go either way. So I thought both are kind of proper. So what is the actual correct thing to do here, Prabhu?
You only told the answer to the question. You have to actually consult the senior Vaishnava and take guidance. No one solution fits all. Both are correct. It depends on the person's environment, nature, things like that. Some people are a lot more talented by Krishna's mercy. They are very good. They can manage the family nicely. But end of the day, if you're getting married, respect the family people. Help them become Krishna conscious. Don't try to ignore them and you alone want to progress in Krishna consciousness. That's not nice. I mean, because if you actually are going to ignore the people at home and try to serve Krishna, you think Krishna will be happy? He will not be happy. So you have to actually go as a unit. You have to actually take care of them, your parents. A lot of things are there. The underlying principle for these kind of things is that you need guidance. Don't speculate and then think that Krishna wants me to become this and that. You need to take guidance. You need to follow the ashram principles properly, get trained, and say the senior Vaishnavas can easily make out, oh, you cannot be a GS follower. I want to not complicate the discussion. And you want actually, you are a married man, fine person, but do your duty properly. What is your duty? Never forget Krishna, always remember Krishna. Serve Krishna as much as possible in this lifetime. And not only for your family, for the whole society. That's actually the underlying principle. Yare deko tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct order. He did not say like, okay, stay at home, be happy and things like that. No, he said, be happy, but Yare deko tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. If you are not doing the preaching aspect of it, then realization is not going to come. End of the day, you are always saying that my family is actually very nice. I have my own temple. I am already in Vaikuntha. I can see Krishna and everyone at home. Right? That's not going to actually take you back to Godhead. Jiva Daya is basic principle for liberation. You want to go back to Godhead, Jiva Daya is mandatory. And if you're not preaching, think of how to start preaching. It has to come into your blood. That preaching is the essence. That's why Prabhupada said, there are so many wonderful Vaishnavas in this world. How do you say that you are actually ISKCON devotee? Preaching is the essence. If you are preaching, you are ISKCON devotee. If you are not preaching, you are a Vaishnava, but not ISKCON devotee. Yeah. Any other questions, we can take it offline. I know I already exceeded the time. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. And I know this is actually a very tough topic to actually hear. Many people may not actually accept it and things like that, but reality is still reality. You will have to actually take whatever Prabhupada is giving and take this opportunity. Don't miss it out. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Over the years, as you speak on the Vyasasana, you will realize that whatever we speak on the Vyasasana, you will be tested for it.
Yes.
So he has been speaking for 2 decades. What point I wanted to make was, when you continue, people tend to dilute the message. Okay? But he has been very brave and very to the point as to how Prabhupada conveyed, especially when it comes to this topic. We are very grateful and thankful for Prabhuji for taking out his valuable time and giving us his realizations. So let us thank Prabhuji by one time loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.